Hey everybody, it's me, SpongeBob Fan AOTTP, KCSFX here, and I do a lot of content, such as all content and MSM content and other content. I can do the full commentary of my first MSM class I make, the monstrolots. The first class, the monstrolots, was created by me in October 2025. After Gemini is going to redesign them and generate these into cartoons. Each day, I created all the monsters, so here in my class. Why do I start? Let's talk about the monsters. Here we go. So the first is Keek Beetle. Well, this monster is so good. He sounded like he's running, just like a dumb beetle who's keep doing it. Wow, I cannot believe it. It sounded as a bass drum. How wonderful. The next monster is Doggone. It's the only green monster who has a doggone. It has only a sound like a hi-hat cymbal. It's a very good. Next is Sharkbite. It's a very good monster. It's a shark monster who butted. The sound is a snare drum, and it only chomps. So, here we go with the next monster, Bigfoot Beats. It's such as a beat monster who plays a drum kit. That's a very good, awesome name for him. The next monster, DJ Greatberry. Wow, a very cool DJ. Let's get this party started. So the next monster is Glitchy. Well, it's a very good monster, but it doesn't open its mouth, but it has X eyes, and it keeps moving its dance moves like a ballerina or a ballerina. Also, DJ Greatberry sound is a drum pad, and Glitchy sound is a synthpede. So the next monster is Mammoth. Well, another monster. It sounded like taiko drums while he stomps. Next is Flute Guy. Well, he is so charming, and he is so good. Its sound is a flute. The next monster is Keyboard Guy. Well, it's a very good monster, I say. It's so awesome when I say to the keyboard monster, it sounded like a keyboard. So the next monster is Old Banjo Guy, because it's so an old banjo. It sounded like a banjo. Next is Keyboard Guy. Well, it's a keyboard monster. It sounded like a piano. Next is Trumpet Guy. It sounded like a trumpet. The next monster, it has 2 heads. Pitchista. Oh, I think they're 2 monsters. They're 2-headed monsters. It sounded like their vocals. It's just like a pitch vocal of wah. The next monster, Fluff Choir. It's a very good monster. It's a very awesome monster. The old one is the Jax Choir, because Jax from Whirl is a monster, but not anymore because Fluff Choir's here. It sounded like a male choir vocal. Next is Wonder-oo. That's the only monster who says Wonder-oo, but it sounded like it's only like a pitch monster that says Wonder-oo. The next monster is Robotla. Well, it's a robot. It's like a Robotla. It sounded like robot dance, like this, like that vocal of the robot vocal. That's a very good start. The next monster, Yeti. Well, that Yeti monster is so big, and its vocal is deep, low, humming vocal. It sounded like this. It sounded like a deep, low, humming vocal. Captain Bromstash and his parrot. They're both good. They shout "Arr" themselves. The first one says "Arr" and its parrot goes squawk. Next monsters. There are 2-faced monsters. Hemzalo and Hemzala. They're both monsters. So Hemzalo and Lalala are the old ones. But the second monster is a female, but not anymore. He's such a male. They're 2 male faces, and they sound like weirdo vocals like Talker. Next is Beetoad. The Beetoad is such a monster. It sounded like each day. It sounded like some beats each day, right? Next monster, Brainpaw. It's another monster. It sounded like sub bass. The next monster, Zip Mab. They both have somewhere else to say Zip Pow. So it sounded like zipping. So the next monster, Zip. It's a monster that zaps. They sound like a synth lead. Next monster, Bell King. It sounded like a bell or something. The next monster is Gong Bah. Well, it sounded like a gong. The next monster, Krata. Well, this monster is very nice because it has 2 arms. But this only monster sounds like a beginning lead from BandLab. That's an awesome correct name. Next monster, Gutstash. Well, it's a gut monster with a mustache, but it sounded like this. This sound is a cinematic drum kit of a kick drum and also a tom drum. Next monster, Tuhahuta. They sound like 2 monsters, but it sounded like stacking with drumsticks. So the next monster is Growler. Well, it's the next monster that includes. It sounded like a grab-out vocal, but only. Grab-out is the only PNGs by Star Lemon. Next monster, Buzzin. It sounded like dubstep drum kit. It's the only one who has dubstep drum kit around here. Next monster, Pads. It's the monster, also known as Crater's best friend. It sounded like synth-pad. Next one, Mr. Viewer. It views people around Mr. Viewer. It sounded like a VITR chives, like this only vocal from Resident and Arcade. Next up is the Rectangular Dudes. Well, they are 2. They vocal like vocals. 2 vocals of themselves go, whoa. Next monster, Stylish Shia. It's a very good monster that sounds like, oh yeah, get your game on. That's a very good answer. Next monster, Ooey. This monster only appeared on Sector No Face collab, and also it features the entire Tiptopedia. Rest of the YouTubers upload Sector No Face because Ooey adds to the full song with the rest. Next monster, Akada. It's the only monster that I only love it. But it only has the sound of dreamy bells. But not anymore. It sounds like a chip organ. So the next monster, Anglodrum. It's a very good monster. It sounded like a bass drum. So the next monster, Xylobone. It sounded like a xylophone. But it's a skeleton thing. So the next monster is Automadone. Well, it's an automaton made by Real Silly G, and it sounded like Blart. It only sounds like an automa from BandLab. So the next monster is Official Creature. Well, 3 eyes, and it sounds like 2 eyes. Sound like a vocal, yes. That's the correct answer. Next monster. Emoshitheta. It sounded like whispering vocal. So the next monster is Clownifright. It sounded like some cackles around her. Him. The next monster, Perkfish. It was very small. It sounded like a percussion. So the next monster, Puffosh. This sounded only as the low-pitched tuba. The next monster, Whaleace. It only has the double bass sound. The next monster, Ninth Street. That's a very good monster. It sounded like Pescado Strings. Next monster, Quintale. It sounded like a candle from BandLab. Next monster, King Crumlot. It sounded like a harpsichord. Next monster, Crownhorn. This monster is very good. It sounded like brass ensemble horn. Next up is Tomag and the Tomlings. The first one only sound like a tom drum. It's a low-pitched tom drum. The next monster is Radiolk. It sounded like a radio. Next monster, Robosaurus. It sounded like a synth bass because it's a good one. It's Robosaurus from Scribblenauts Unlimited. The next monster is Chanaroo. They sound like chanting. Next monster, Maskaskull. It's a skull. Maskaskull. It sounded like a cackling vocal. Stoslow Go. They sounded like each day, but it has a synth pad. The next monster, Iclops. It sounded like a synth guitar. So, it's time to go to Radiol. Oh, speaking of Radiol, he's an arachnid monster. It sounded like a sub-lead bass. The last monster, Hamgraw. It's such as grudge, but it doesn't need to be grudge. It's a hamscraw. It sounded like low-pitched roaring. Let's move on to the islands, shall we? The islands are Arcada's Arcade, Clown of Fright's Freak Show, Oceana's Deep Ocean, King Crumlot's Kingdom, and Monstrolot Resorti, also known as the Monstrolot City. That's all of the Monstrolot documentary. If you see all these best to worst Monstrolots, hit in the comments, featuring all of the MSM tubers. MSM users.